and shimmering shades of freedom dash, where raging storms at midnight howl, and distant rolls of thunder growl, where the hounds of hell take flight, and ghost clouds race across the night, where silver webs of spiders weave, and star-crossed lovers take their leave, where curses lay the spirits low, and as hours like years and ages creep, a night seems termless hell. This dreadful strain of thought and consciousness which never ceases, or which some moments stupor, but increases. This worse than woe makes wretches there insane. They live all hope behind who enter there. One certitude while sane they cannot leave, one anodyne for torture and despair, the certitude of death which no reprieve can put off long, and which divinely tender, but waits the outstretched hand to promptly render. That drought whose slumber nothing can bereave. This poem is called The Stolen Child. Where dips the rocky highland of Sleuthwood in the lake, there lies a leafy island, where flapping herons wake. The drowsy water rats, there we've hid our fairy vats, full of berries, and of reddest stolen cherries. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. Where the wave of moonlight glosses the dim grey sands with light, far off by furthest rosses, we foot it all the night, weaving olden dances, mingling hands and mingling glances, till the moon has taken flight. To and fro we leap, and chase the